Welcome to Love in the Love Boat, where we break down episodes of one of the greatest romantic comedy drama television series of all time. I'm Istvan, Chicagoland's beloved children's musician and TV fanatic.
And I'm Michelle, pop culture enthusiast.
So come aboard, we're expecting you to join us for another edition of
Love in the Love Boat.
Hello, you guys. Welcome aboard, episode 18. Or in some
19.
cases, yeah, that's the thing. It says episode 18 via Paramount Plus. That's why I was so confused on episode 15, because it said it was whatever. It confuses the whole thing. I think this is in reality episode 19, but we are on episode 18.
Well, let's just say this whole episode was slightly confusing.
Confusing is one way to describe this. Horrible is another. Michelle, I hated this
so
episode.
horrible.
No, I hated it.
As a lover of soap operas and Dynasty and...
All right, I want you to help me see why this is a worthwhile episode, because I had a very difficult time with this. And this episode contains maybe the most...
Weirdest.
Not weirdest, like a character that I hate more than any character. Like a character I disliked straight up.
Oh, yeah.
The supposed cool guy on this ship.
Yeah, I hate those kind of guys.
I hated this guy so much. He was so unlikable immediately. All right, well, let's get to the storylines first, okay?
Yes.
Because I am mad at one of our two of our story writers.
This episode, there's no love for you on this Love Boat episode.
Michelle, I hate this episode. All right, here we go. Story number 1, A Very Special Girl, written by Jerry Winnick. We also have Until the Last Goodbye, written by Ben Jolson and Art Bear. And finally, we have The Inspector, written by Bruce Howard. Now, Michelle, as you know, I go alphabetically. You can go any way you like to just share the guests on this cruise.
I'm not
with
sure
our
I have them
listeners.
written down alphabetically. Gosh, why do I have trouble when we do the podcast?
Where do I begin? I don't know.
All right, I have Sal Viscuso as Doug Ketchum. He's the guy with the curly blonde hair.
Yeah, I like him.
Sal Viscuso was 3 times on the Love Boat.
Yeah, he's great. I believe he's out there right now, and I'm going to try to get a
He
hold
is.
of
He is
Sal.
still active. I did see that on whatever I was looking at.
He, on the other hand, is super likable as soon as you see him. Like, he's
yeah.
great, but the guy he had to work off of,
Because he
man,
had like
oh,
a
man.
cool like perm. Usually a perm curly-haired person is
Is that
nice.
all it takes for you? Just the perm?
Well, they're usually a nice guy.
And, well, why don't you go to who he's kind of hooked up with, another person who I immediately liked?
Debralee Scott.
Yeah.
She plays Jane Cole, and everybody knows her. I know her. You know her from Welcome Back, Kotter,
Hotsy Totsy.
and from Mary Hartman. Anybody who watched that?
She's awesome, man. She's great. She was around a lot back in the day.
She was a great character actress.
Okay, who else?
We have the late, great Jim Backus.
And he couldn't save this cruise, people. Jim Backus couldn't do
Thurston
it.
Howell III couldn't do it for you.
Nope.
Rats. Then you have Bob Seagren. He played the character that you dislike so much, Mike Andrews.
What'd you call him?
Seagren. Bob Seagren. That's his real name.
Seagren?
Maybe Seagren. I don't know. I said I was going to butcher a lot of these names. My Bob Seagrams.
Seagren. All right, go for it. Yeah, is that the one I don't like?
I just said that. Mike Andrews.
He sucks.
Then you have Paul Burke, who played Brian Sherwood, the older gentleman.
Yep.
With Susan Blanchard, Sarah Lambert, his companion on the ship. I won't spoil alert
Way
yet.
to go.
Then you have
Patti MacLeod, or MacLeod.
Patti MacLeod. I mean, Gavin MacLeod's wife in real life.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
How did you not put that together?
Because I hate this episode, and I was...
Well, and
I
I'm
was,
going to tell you a little thing. She was his wife during this episode. Then they divorced. Then they got back together and remarried. And I believe they were married until he passed away.
Wow.
Also, side note, she was the mom of Drew Steele.
From the Surf Punks?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So she's a fantastic woman, even though they made her kind of play a ditzy woman.
You know what's so sad is he passed away. I found that out. He was living in Hawaii, and he died very young. That sucks.
Yeah.
For people out there, surf punks are like this really unusual... I think the other dude was related to another 70s icon, to like Dennis Dragon or whatever.
Correct.
From, Captain and Tennille. But the surf punks are like this really fun, funny... one of a kind, kind of like sort of like
They
punk
were
rock
awesome.
band. Yeah, you can see them on Erga Music War, which is a great documentary. You get to see all kinds of amazing music from that period of time.
She's his mom, but Gavin MacLeod was just his stepdad.
Wow, that's cool. That's interesting. Oh, all right, you're drawing me into this. 'Cause that's
There are
pretty
a lot
cool.
of positives to this episode.
Yeah, so we get on the boat and what?
So the slightly like madcap comedy part of all this is that Gavin MacLeod informs everybody that there's a secret inspector coming on to the ship.
I just had a tip from one of my friends at the head office. The line is sending one of their inspectors on this cruise. Now, he'll be checking up on all of us and sending back a report on how we perform our duties. Now, my advice to all of you is watch your step.
What's the problem, sir? We'll treat him like a king.
The problem is, I don't know who he is. Could be anyone on the ship.
Well, it's not me. That narrows it down.
Sir, you have nothing to worry about. We're a great crew.
Sure, when it comes to services, we cover the bases from A to Z.
Once we establish the inspector through line, there's a whole lot of flirting going on.
Most definitely. Debralee Scott comes in with the woman who plays her character, Melanie. Melanie, of course, is the very pretty, beautiful blonde, outgoing. Debralee Scott's character, Jane, is a little mousy, I guess, for lack of a better word, but super sweet. And, of course,
Sweetness
Gopher
don't pay the bills, all right? So
but
it's not
Gopher
getting her a
and
whole lot
Doc
of attention.
immediately are drawn to her. There's always like a battle between those two for like the cute female passengers. But Doc kind of takes her over and he's walking away with her when the creep comes on the ship.
Hello, beautiful lady. Hi, I'm Mike Andrews. It's my friend Doug Ketchum, and we've come to rescue you from this dangerous nautical type.
Do I look like I need rescuing?
You really can't trust a grown man in a sailor suit.
Okay, then I'll put on my stethoscope. We can play doctor.
Melanie, I don't want to scare you, but if you attract any more guys to this side, the ship is going to list.
Everything about this dude drove me nuts.
His clothes.
I hated his clothes.
Like he had that like safari suit on at one point when
Yeah.
they were at the pool.
And I hate that like weird rapey confidence that guys had and have and assume that that's the way that you're supposed to behave. And it did work for him though on this ship. Spoiler alert. Melanie, totally goes for it. But it's just like this dude, just for some reason, maybe he was awkward, he was uncomfortable. It's just like, I'm serious. Like this guy really was off-putting to me in a way that
His whole character was just
oh
terrible.
man, I just really, and maybe it was to contrast the other guy. And if that was the goal, they really
Doug
accomplished
Ketchum.
that. Oh man, yeah. And everyone's just going strong for this Melanie the whole time.
Then we get to the most confusing scenario of the whole
Oh god.
show. So this older gentleman is looking for this woman. She hasn't come on the ship yet. Finally, the woman comes on. She's much younger than him. Gopher and Julie are watching their interaction. Julie has a thing for older men.
She does, man.
She must have father issues.
Absolutely. I mean, she really is just like going off on this guy, like of how she finds him attractive.
Because there was that earlier episode, she was with that older gentleman too. But anyway, so this much younger woman comes on. But the thing that's just weird, I mean, I get it, they're trying to trick you. They're very close. They have different names, so you don't know exactly what their relationship is. They want you to assume that she's coming on maybe. But then is this the part where the captain comes on too and they ask him what he thinks, or is that later?
You know what? I am having...
Oh, no. Don't.
Michelle.
Don't you die on me.
Don't worry. Let's just try and get through this podcast. Let's try and enjoy this one. I don't know exactly what happened between the two of them. They're just establishing that he's waiting for a woman to come onto the ship. She finally does. And they head off to their separate rooms, which she says, you didn't have to get 2 rooms.
It's a lot of innuendo.
Way too much innuendo, ladies and gentlemen. Because why? Are we even going to like draw this out like there's some like massive reveal we have to do?
No, we don't have to.
You guys.
The whole episode, they're making you think that they're like almost like a couple, older man with a younger woman. Because they're very like close and touchy-feely and they're always together. He's always kissing her on the cheek throughout the whole episode.
Dude, Julie says like, oh, they're always touching. Like she loves that they're always touching. He's constantly touching her and they're very, very close to one another, kissing all the time.
Just on the cheek.
Yeah, but still, they're like way near each other. And like everything is sort of like leading you in some sort of like kind of romantic direction. They're father and daughter, everybody.
Yeah, you find out at the very end that they're father and daughter. Plot twist.
Can I tell you something though?
What?
Like I'm saying like I hate this episode, right? This episode came about as close to making me cry as any episode we have watched, though. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't stand this episode. And guys, I'm going to flash forward for you.
When Gavin MacLeod reads the letter?
No.
I got weepy.
No, it's before that. When they're on the dance floor, and then he asks for one more song, and then he starts singing this song to her, like aloud. And I swear to you, I was so emotional because basically this is a dad loving his daughter. You know, if anyone knows my story and, you know, our story, it's that our daughter transformed our life, and especially me, because it changed the whole direction of how I play music and stuff like that.
He was like the Grinch, his heart grew.
Oh, absolutely. And then this was happening because there's such a heavy element to this story.
It's Aaron Spelling.
Oh my gosh. And it was crushing me because they're just trying to enjoy potentially.
They're implying that he's ill throughout the whole thing because he's coughing and he's kind of weak. Yet he's still smoking.
He never stops smoking.
But I guess you want to get those last smokes in before you go.
Guess you've gone that far. You may as well just, you know, to the bitter end. Keep on smoking, people. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sorry, you guys, because I'm having a tough time with this one.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Am I going to have to read a letter to Evie?
Oh, I hope not. And these two just are constantly having these moments together on the ship that are keeping you in the dark about what their relationship is.
Did I tell you how handsome you look this morning?
No.
Well, you do. Very handsome.
Actually, you did. But I just wanted to hear it again.
Let's lighten the load and get into the two couples. The two women are in their cabin talking. The blonde is, you know, attracting all the men on the ship.
She comes out in a bikini, like right
that's
from the,
right.
from the
And then
bathroom.
Debralee's like...
Normally, you're supposed to jump in your pajamas first when you get on the cruise.
Right. Usually you're in your pajamas.
She switched it up and she jumped right into a red bikini and came out of the bathroom. And then...
If it were me on a cruise ship, my very first afternoon, I would probably just unpack, maybe kind of explore the ship a little. Maybe have a drink and hit the nacho bar.
If anyone's looking for a travel companion...
Not sure I'd either I wouldn't jump into my pajamas right away or a bikini.
Well, that's why none of the creepy dudes would be all over you.
No,
you know?
I would be more like Debralee.
Reading a book or something.
Yeah. So Debralee, she's regretting coming on the ship for the cruise because, as always, they're always attracted to her.
Well, every dude was hitting on her within 5 seconds, so I could see how she could feel pretty bummed. Her friend tries to give her a bit of a pep talk.
You know, that Mike is really cute. I got my eye on him.
Yeah, and if you saw the look in his eyes, you'd know the feeling is mutual. Not to mention the other 3 guys. You're going to have a ball as usual.
Well, you are too.
Oh, I don't know. I wish you never talked me into coming on this cruise.
Why?
Well, because this is your scene, not mine, and I'm afraid I'm going to be a drag to you.
Oh, you are not. Now, come on, none of this negative stuff. We're both going to have a great time, and we're going to have lots of dates.
Yeah, you'll get the dates, and I'll get the pits.
So Melanie gets Jane onto the deck. They're at the pool, just kind of hanging out. And Melanie decides she's going to go to the gift shop.
And every dude is in hot pursuit.
Hi, Jane. Where's Melanie?
Oh, she went to the gift shop with Doc.
Oh, thanks, Jane. See you later.
Hi, Gene.
Hi.
Where's Melanie?
She's in the gift shop with Doc and Mike.
Thanks. See you later.
She's in the gift shop.
Now, at the end there, you heard a little something. Is it Polish, Michelle? Is it Russian?
I was thinking it was Polish.
Because the thing we did not talk about is in the very beginning, there was a little man in a little black suit.
Who didn't speak English.
Zadretsky, he's looking for something. He's speaking in some sort of, foreign language. And this is the thing that doesn't make any sense either, because if they don't know who this dude is, how does he just get on the boat? Like, they don't say, they don't check
Much
him
like
in.
a runaway could when they were younger.
Yeah, but the runaways are, sneaking onto the ship. This guy's running around
Well,
asking
and then if you're
people's-
worried about an inspector, wouldn't you want to try to help this guy who's clearly lost and doesn't speak English?
Maybe because they were so distracted by the idea that the inspector was on the ship that he slipped through the cracks. But I thought that was actually kind of funny that they utilized him at the end of that to end that little scene. You know what I mean? With everyone looking for the thing and the way that she answered. That girl is very great. Because she's like what I really liked in especially like in an actress or an actor too. It's the same thing we talk about Fred Grandy, but like that she has humor as part of her personality.
Oh,
that
for sure.
There's like a whimsical quality to her. Well, you know what? You know, we're talking about the little foreign man. You know, he is running around the ship. We don't know what's up with him, but it turns out this guy's going to be connected to the other through line, which is the inspector.
Correct. So at some point they seem to think that the Jim Backus character is the inspector. So after they get a lecture from Captain Stubing to not go overboard with their kindness with the person they think is the inspector, of course they all go overboard.
Well, I know who the inspector is.
Who?
It's Mr. Waterman. He's been asking all the passengers questions and taking notes.
That's the guy that was checking for dirt and walking around with a stopwatch.
What do we do?
We don't do anything. We treat him exactly the same as any other passenger.
Hi, Mr. Waterman. How are you this evening? How's the cabin?
What'd you like to do?
Feeling all right, sir? Mr. Waterman, I got some champagne in here. I know you're going to be.
Wait, would you care to come up to see the bridge?
So they're like fawning over him on the ship, and then they take him back to his cabin to tuck him in. All of them are there to do this, which is a bit crazy.
Yeah, when you have 600 passengers on the ship, I don't know how you're going to give everyone this kind of attention really in time to cover your bases and make sure that you're catering to the inspector.
So as they're pouring him champagne, he lets it be known that he's actually a children's author.
I thought that was kind of funny.
I thought so too.
Marvin the whatever.
And he was doing Marvin Goes on a Cruise Ship, and that's what he was researching.
Yeah, it was kind of cute. Because it was always like Marvin the mosquito, Marvin the whale, whatever. It was like Marvin was a different... It actually sounded like it could have been a successful, children's book for sure. And that was kind of, I thought, clever.
Yeah, it was cute. Obviously, how Gopher came back for the book because he had copies of his books on the ship.
Yeah, exactly. Gopher wants to read the book, kind of embarrassed because he's a grown person, but
they, oh God, please hang in there.
But they don't let you, feel too good too long.
No, because we're right back to
because even though you don't know that this dude is the father of this woman, you do know he's ill. You definitely know he's ill and stubborn. Again, like Michelle said, he keeps on smoking, keep on puffing away, even though it's killing you.
What's even more odd is that the crew is constantly watching them and commenting on their relationship. Because they do ask Captain Stubing at some point when they're watching them dance or whatever, would you ever date somebody that age? Or
that's a dumb question to ask an older guy.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's an appropriate relationship? Sure it is. Of course it is. I could see that age difference not being an issue whatsoever.
And he said, of course I could see myself with a woman like that.
They always make jokes about his age and stuff, which is kind of funny too, I think.
Yeah.
'Cause he said he's about 5 years older than me, and then Gopher's like, older? And then he catches himself because he's going to get in trouble. And that stuff, I think, is always funny. Always.
It is funny.
Fred Grandy never makes that not funny. I mean, he's great.
You can go back to the foursome. As always, then the two are, for some reason, looking for a place to hook up. The creepy guy and the blonde woman, Melanie.
What did you say?
That they're looking for a place to hook up.
To what?
Hook up?
Why don't you come in for a while, Mike?
Well, I don't usually go to a strange woman's cabin on the first date. But in your case, I'll make an exception.
Oh, Janie. I didn't mean to disturb you. See you later, okay? Well, now what are we going to do?
Yeah, so these two have known each other for what, Michelle? How long?
24 hours at best.
And I guess you got to get it going, man. How many days you have on this boat? Not too many.
Right. You got to have a marriage proposal soon enough.
So this slime takes off his Sandsbelt slacks in the room, and they have to send the roommate away.
So his friend that came on the ship with him takes her out for a drink.
So yeah, they send her away, And they get a drink, whatever. And then
She has no place to sleep, so she
Yeah,
has to go
'cause of
sleep in
that.
the cabin with Mike.
And they have like a little, like old-timey movie exchange. She's very
Gentlemanly.
She is?
He is.
Yeah, he's being really nice. Although it's weird because it's a radical change because he was going strong for this other Melanie person.
He realizes he's out.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like that's the guy code. It's like now you step away. And so then they're in the room. She's completely like nervous because it's just like we shouldn't be sharing a room with one another. She puts on the other guy's gross pajamas.
His
she
silks.
Oh God. They say all this stuff, and then it's just like they get in bed, and she's still nervous as if the guy's gonna pounce on her. But then he's a nice fella,
Right.
and then they start enjoying each other's company.
Getting to know each other.
It's actually nice. Those two together, I think, really worked
I
together.
thought they were a cute couple, too.
I liked them. I liked them both very much. I thought it really did work. Should have been a spin-off of some kind. I could have seen those two
Definitely.
in their own show.
Kind of like a Rhoda spinoff, but those
Something
two.
like that. Yeah, sure.
Moving on, after Jim Backus is discovered
you're jumping
to
now.
not
Whoa.
be the inspector. I'm just going back to the inspector thing because they move on to Gavin MacLeod's wife.
His wife is acting like a ditz the whole time. She's just like this goofy, weird,
Confused, lost.
woman. And that's something we're not touching on because
I don't get that kind of a character that's in those, because that happened quite regularly back then. Like the ditzy blonde woman, and she's always asking questions. Oh, and then she's like, I got to make a phone call. So then they think like ship to shore.
Hey, you guys, guess who made 3 ship-to-shore phone calls yesterday?
Marvin, the radio operator.
No, Mrs. Corwin.
No. We already eliminated her.
I think you make the best coffee I ever tasted.
Oh, thank you.
The sweet rolls are delicious. I'm going to mention this in my next report.
My dearest darling Michelle, as you are aware, I hate this episode. I hate it so much it has caused me physical pain. And as we agreed, if I ever were to experience discomfort of this magnitude as a result of watching The Love Boat, I would bail and leave you to finish the show on your own. Me being there would be torture for us both, so I have sought professional help while there is still love for the show, as it has been from the first episodes. You know, like the good ones with Jacqueline Smith and Dennis Cole. I love that one. Do not fret, my darling. Only this episode is ending. My undying love for the Love Boat series will live on. Your devoted co-host, Istvan.
I believe I am alone for the rest of this podcast because Istvan has been airlifted to Cedar Sinai. So they're still confused as to who the inspector is. And they just cannot figure it out for the rest of the cruise. Meanwhile, back to the foursome. Debralee Scott and the other guy, Mike character, are really hitting it off. Truly hitting it off. Like getting to know each other, getting to like each other. So then they're going back to the room at some point and the tables are turned.
Tonight, Mike invited Melanie to my cabin.
Ah, well, don't just stand there. Come on in.
Listen, if you're uncomfortable about this, just tell me and I'll find someplace else to go.
Oh, no. I'm not uncomfortable. I'm just worried about one thing.
What's that?
How are you going to look in Melanie's pajamas? Would you like something to eat? I can call room service.
No, thanks. I'm not hungry.
How about a nightcap? Magazine? Well, guess there's only one thing left for us to do. Let's go to bed.
After their night of romance, everybody's gathering at the pool. Debralee Scott and Mike are hanging out at the pool in the morning. They're about to get coffee when the creep guy walks up with Melanie.
Hey, buddy, I haven't seen you around. Where you been?
Well, Jane and I have been keeping pretty busy.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Hey, I gotta tell you, buddy, you have really been a heck of a good sport about this. And I won't forget it either.
What do you mean?
Well, keeping Jane out of her hair the way you've been doing.
Yeah, asking her out for a drink the other night, that was terrific. But keeping her busy so Mike and I could be alone together, that's even better.
Here's your coffee.
When When I was a kid, always misunderstandings like that would give me so much anxiety. Like I couldn't take it because you know that's not what he meant and what was going on, and that she got upset with him would upset me, and it still holds true as an adult. Wait, what's that sound?
Michelle,
What?
you're not going to believe this.
Miracle Cure?
The doctors at Cedars-Sinai, the miraculous technology and advances they've made in medicine have healed me.
Thank God.
I still hate this episode, but I like this part of this show where after the dramatic. Did you talk about the dramatic slap?
I did. Well, I didn't talk about it. They heard a clip about it.
And it was pretty intense, because you could really sense the hurt. And did you notice, because I remember you mentioning when they did the dramatic zoom on Julie in that one episode?
Yeah.
They did a dramatic zoom on her face when she overhears in, again, like what, Three's Company style, here's something that's not correct.
Right.
Because the jerk couple, had to say something as if like he was taking her off of their hands.
So she wasn't bothering them. She runs back to her cabin.
And he chases after her. And he gives like a really nice, I think, like a really nice heartfelt little monologue, pledging his love to her.
Jane? Jane? Open up. I'm going to stay here until you do. I know hearing what they said must have hurt. But what you don't know is what I was going to say to them. That they did me a favor. You're different from any girl I've ever met. You're quiet and sensitive and real. You don't have to worry that you're not like Melanie. You're you. You're special. Well, anyway, I just want you to know. I love you.
Well, why didn't you say so in the first place?
See, Michelle, and at the end of that, I mean, we're both in agreement that we both like this actress very, very much. Her reaction seems so appropriate to her. Just like, why didn't you say so?
Yeah.
That it's cute, it's funny, it's light, and after like a fairly dramatic moment. And that to me is one of the most like satisfying things from a show like this, from any show really.
And you do truly believe that they like each other.
Yes, absolutely.
They go together.
Yeah, and that's
rarely do couples go together on the Love Boat, and
Yeah.
they really do go together.
No, that was super satisfying. That was like a super satisfying thing. But then, of course, they have to crush my soul. And you get the true reveal of the dad and the daughter.
Yes, because she's waiting, letting him sleep in. Then she goes to check on him, and in a very dramatic fashion, the captain and Doc are at the door, very serious and
It was like
solemn.
the most grim element, I think, of any of the episodes so far, like most serious.
So they meet her when she's knocking on her dad's cabin door, but she asks if he died, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, he was very ill.
He's in a lot of pain.
And I had him airlifted to Los Angeles. But they won't tell her where he went because he doesn't want his daughter to know where he went.
Well, because they say in the episode that they had made an agreement with one another that the dad wanted, and I don't blame him.
Didn't want to see her at the end while he was suffering.
Yeah, and so that was the deal that they had made. This was their last moment together, and again, that crushed me. I mean, that really did crush me on this thing.
Technically, we still don't know that that's her father yet.
Yeah, well, no, we
don't until he reads the letter.
Oh, you're right.
So then they go into her cabin, and then the captain has a letter. I have a letter from him. I have a letter for you. And then she's like, I can't read it. Will you read it to me, total stranger?
And he does.
My dearest, darling Sarah, the end is coming sooner than the doctors foresaw. And as we agreed, I want to see this thing through alone. The short time I have left would only be torture for us both. So I have left you while joy was still with us, as it has been from the moment I first saw your beautiful face. Do not fret, my darling, Sarah. Only my life is ending. My undying love for you will live on.
And as we all find out, he says, Father.
Dude.
Literally, it made me kind of tear up during
Oh,
that
no,
letter.
I was really, really
I
kind of
felt really
devastated by the whole
bad.
thing. Because when you see this, again, and once you get past all of the weird, inappropriate stuff, that they're trying to because they're trying to trick you the whole time as if it's a romantic couple. When you think about in this relationship, like a dad really loving his daughter that much and vice versa,
To spare her like the pain of his dying.
And also just how much you're going to miss that person.
Yeah.
It was brutal. Thanks a lot to Ben Jolson and Art Bear.
But it gets still dramatic. There's still more drama to it because then she's like, please tell me what hospital you've taken him to. And then Doc's like, that's, doctor-patient confidentiality. And then
some killer acting from Bernie Kopell, just with his expressions.
like
It was
shaking
really
his
good.
head and he's all serious. And then the captain's like, but I'm not a doctor. So then he asks Doc if he can tell her. And
I'm going to say he's alive because they saved me. I mean, they do good work at Cedars-Sinai. So I think, there's no...
You think he went on, lived?
Yes.
Some miracle?
Yeah, he was at, some, terrible... He was at death's door, and they brought him back.
That is
so
the most popular, celebrity hospital in
Yeah.
California.
So there was never any indication that, he definitely had passed away. So let's all, guys... Let's pretend, Tinkerbell style. Let's all think real hard, and we think that he is still alive because he was a nice father, and they were a nice father and daughter pair, and boy, oh boy. And then it was a weird ending, right? Because when they all, why do we think the worst of people?
Yeah, that was weird, too. It wasn't the worst. They just thought they were a couple. I didn't think that they thought anything bad about him. So they get her a car, and they take her to Cedars-Sinai when the boat docks. To see her dad, and then Julie and the crew have this weird afterthought.
Hey, guess what, you guys? The scumbag guy, what does he do at the end, Michelle?
Talk to you later. Basically.
It's been a real, what would you say? It's
Slice.
been real, baby. And then he
Been
just
a slice.
yeah, maybe I'll talk to you later. And then
She's like, when?
It's been great, Melanie. You're a beautiful, sexy lady.
And you're a beautiful, sexy man.
Well, we'll see you sometime, okay?
When?
Sometime.
Yeah, he's out the door.
Yeah, it was just a cruise. Romance.
Yeah.
One and done.
Ew.
Meanwhile, her BFF has found true romance.
Yes, and he's really nice. He's getting a car for them, and you
Thankfully,
realize
he didn't mention anything about marriage, though.
No, that's true. They were really good.
Yeah.
They were really good. They were just on this really bizarre episode. And then you know what else?
They still can't figure out who the inspector is.
Where did the guy sleep?
Probably in a lounge
No
chair
one
out on the
notices
deck.
this man in his little
Well,
old-timey
that's what I'm
immigrant
saying.
suit running around the ship the whole time.
How did he eat?
I don't know. And so
7 days. And if his... So then this guy comes rushing to the ship who wasn't on the ship.
Oh, you're so nice.
I must see someone in charge immediately.
Oh, well, sir, you're in luck. Here's the captain.
Oh, I am the company inspector for the Princess Lines.
You're the inspector?
I don't remember seeing you on this cruise.
Well, that's what I was trying to say. My father drove me to the dock and disappeared. And while I was rushing around trying to find him, the ship sailed without me.
Excuse me. That phrase that your father just used, miet kiarski pershnaya podosku. What does that mean?
It means, have you seen my son, the inspector?
But he's like...
He's a combination of John Denver and that one gymnast guy that still does commentary these days. He was very popular.
The guy that's married to Nadia Comaneci.
Yeah. It's like a
Can't think of his
combination.
name right now.
I can't remember his name.
They always host the telethons.
Yeah. Your favorite, the telethons.
Yes, I love
So it's
the
a comment of
telethon.
that. And he comes running on with his greased, blondish hair. And what did he say? Oh, I am the inspector for the Princess Cruise Lines, right?
But I missed the ship because I was looking for my father.
My weird immigrant father dropped me off.
So it's some weird convoluted plot ending where that's his dad. Somehow his dad got on the ship and he didn't. But nobody thought to call the ship to see if his dad was on the ship for 7 days.
My apologies, guys. I wasn't feeling it. I couldn't deal with it.
I didn't dislike this one as much as you did, but I'm more tolerant of soap opera style dramas, so can't always be a feel-good episode.
No, it can't.
Well, I bet it's time to just wrap this episode up and call it a day.
You better believe it, baby. I apologize. I'm very sorry. But, let's all hope the next episode
Is a little more lighthearted.
a lot more lighthearted. Do we know who's on the next one?
I have not looked, no.
Hang on. All right, you guys, we just looked forward, and the next one's looking promising.
All teen idols.
Oh, yes. Wait, who's on it? Frankie
Patti.
Avalon. Frankie, if you got Frankie Avalon.
Frankie Avalon, Rick Nelson, Patty Duke, all teen idols from the 60s.
Oh, my gosh. So I think this is going to be a much better episode.
Can't wait to watch it.
From my perspective. Yeah, I think it might be good. Computer Man. Oh, yeah.
It's a Valentine's cruise.
Oh, see, that's
So we're already one step up from last
so
episode.
Hang in there, you guys. Thanks so much for listening. We've got high hopes for episode. I still think it's like, yeah, see, look, 19. It says 19 on there. Let's just say it's episode 19, and I think it's going to be a good one. Until then, I am Istvan.
I'm Michelle.
Captain Stubing, please come to the bridge.
And we are loving
the Love Boat.
Hi guys, Istvan here, just checking to see if your cabin is to your liking, your drink is topped off, and you're enjoying the show. Oh, and before I shove off, we'd also love for everyone to consider supporting the show by leaving a tip, big or small, at my Venmo, which you can find in the show description or on your Venmo app by searching at ISTVANSONGS. Again, that's at Istvan Songs on your Venmo app. And as always, thanks you guys for keeping us afloat.